Alright, you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval theme format where I, the crown jewels of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who, sorry, could you please zoom in on my nose, got scratched by their cat because apparently going up to them and saying, ooh, who's a little killer? Who could definitely take on things? And who isn't a fat, lazy house cat nowadays? He's still got some bite left in him. And a scratch, clearly, as well. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Edward Woodward for their suggestion of the greatest video game twists that actually had zero build-up. Because here's the thing, sometimes in video games you can put the pieces together and see that there is a twist coming a country mile off. It's statistically different to a city mile right there. I've got pattern recognition skills. I can see that this guy's going to betray me, or I'm going to fall in love with that person over here, or that person that I fell in love with is also going to betray me. Too real right there, lads. But the thing is, sometimes these twists do actually come out of nowhere and you're left thinking, well, hot damn, my trousers are down and I didn't see that coming. I even wore 3 belts. Belts of anticipation. Because I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 amazing video game twists that came out of nowhere. Number 8, Master Miller is Liquid Snake, Metal Gear Solid. Now, nobody does a plot twist quite like Hideo Kojima, and in terms of sheer WTF shock value, he's arguably never topped the delicious Master Miller reveal near the end of the first Metal Gear Solid. You see, throughout the game, Solid Snake's old pal, old trustworthy Master Miller, please put an image of Simon Miller whenever we're talking about him, because he's that trustworthy, you know what I'm saying? And he provides moral support, much like Simon Miller does, and codec calls, he doesn't return mine as much as I'd like. But after Snake uses the PAL keys and unwittingly activates the Metal Gear Rex, Miller reveals himself to have tricked Snake all along, and that was his master plan. At this point, Colonel Campbell interrupts the call to tell Snake that somebody is impersonating Miller, and that the real Miller's body was just discovered at his home, having been killed 3 days earlier. That's just sad, actually, that one there, because you think to yourself, it's like, oh, did no one think to check on him? He had no loved ones, no one to go over there and just call in. What if he had a pet? What if he had Big Pidge? How's it going, mate? And he starved. I feel double sad about that. Tearing up at the thought of it. Miller then reveals himself to be Liquid Snake, Solid's brother and the game's main villain, who has been posing as Miller for the entirety of the story. Even though this is basically an unguessable twist, up to the point that it's actually revealed, the bait and switch is so damn brilliant that we've actually been conversing with the antagonist the entire time, makes it near impossible to dislike. Number 7, The Huddle. Inside. Playdead's follow-up to their acclaimed puzzle platformer Limbo certainly does not rest on its laurels, or its Hardies. Terrible joke. That wasn't even in the script. I put that in thinking that it was clever. It wasn't, it was dumb. I regret it immediately. And culminates in one of the most unexpected final twists of any game, well, ever. You see, players spend their time controlling a boy as he navigates an oppressive dystopian world, but right at the end, the boy reaches a chamber where he comes face to face with the Huddle, a revolting mass of flesh composed of dozens of people, or as I like to call it, a Warhammer fan. They're a stinky bunch. After the boy frees the Huddle from its restraint, he's pulled into the mass, much like becoming a Warhammer fan, and also becomes part of the blob, at which point players are then given control of it. You're then compelled to stage a rather violent escape, rampaging through the lab and killing any scientists who get in your way, before then breaking through a wall, rolling down a hill, and dramatically stopping. Yeah, you're just at the coastline and the Huddle just goes like, yeah, he's good. All the other scientists are just like, he's escaping, he's moving, he's running away. He's staying very still, he's chilling out. He's busting out a fishing line. He's playing that fishing game with Big the Cat. Leave him to it. So yeah, the end, that's what happened. And it was a decidedly extra way to end a game like that. And up until this point, it had been a positively subtle and restrained experience. Not a single damn soul expected to meet a flesh blob monster, let alone become one, mere moments before the credits roll. You were left utterly speechless, and it was brilliant. And yeah, it may have a strong, we kind of didn't know how to end the game, so we just did something really weird, but yet it is totally amazing. After all, fans are still talking about it a near decade later, so yeah, Pretty good. Number 6, the bad guy is future you. Infamous. Now there's a unique sense of horror to learning that you've actually been playing as the villain all along, and especially when, as in Infamous, the said villain is revealed to be your future self. At the climax of the superhero game, we learn that the villainous Kessler is actually the future version of protagonist Cole McGrath. More to the point, future Cole failed to defeat a creature called the Beast and stop him from annihilating the human race, prompting him to travel back in time, adopt the Kessler moniker, and install himself as a fearsome big bad in this timeline in order to prepare Cole for the real fight ahead against the Beast. Wait, so I have several questions, but most of them can be underlined with what? I mean, I understand the logic-ish of the plan of going back to train yourself to be better, right? But why don't you just go back in time and say, hey, look, past me, why don't we tag team up together, become the new Hardy Boys, and you can swanton bomb the Beast right in his face? But yeah, most superhero movies wish they came up with a plot twist this smart and genuinely surprising. It is the storytelling equivalent of being slapped across the face with a giant wet fish, but in the best way possible. Is there a better way? Is there a better way of that? Number 5, Abraham Lincoln in a power suit, Conduit 2. Now, there's no rule to say that a twist needs to make sense to be absolutely awesome, and so with that in mind, we turn to Conduit 2 and its hilariously batshit sequel-baiting final shocker. The ending cutscene shows an all-powerful alien spacecraft, Tiamat, being woken up just as a portal opens in front of the player and reinforcements arrive. Hilariously though, these reinforcements turn out to be Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, who, because the moment apparently wasn't absurd enough, are also wearing giant power armor while declaring themselves being here to help. A Space Marine clad Abraham Lincoln. I didn't know I need it, but I definitely want it. And with nowhere to go from there, the game just promptly smash cuts to the ending, and it's fantastic. The only way that it could be more over the top and ridiculous is if Big Pidge himself came out and high-fived all three of them like that, and then just did that at the camera. I'd buy that game. I'd buy the sequel. I'd buy the company that makes that game, and then make 3 sequels and call it the High Five trilogy. Because I'd actually end up making 5 of them. Okay, calm down, Jules. It's not real. It's not real. Don't get too excited. I mean, talk about a swing for the fences ending here. You know what? It actually improves an otherwise kind of flawed game. So yeah, it's actually just a shame that Conduit 2 flopped commercially, ensuring that developer High Voltage Software never followed up on that absolutely crazy premise that it promised here. Number 4, Master Li Kills You, Jade Empire. Okay, let's give it up for cult classic action RPG Jade Empire. Si, you clapping? Good. Big Pidge, you can high five on the top of that too. It's pretty good, eh? Throughout the first half of this amazing game, the protagonist is trained by their mentor, Master Li, but once the main villain, which is Emperor Sun Hai, is defeated, you return to Li only for him to instantly, murderize you, take your wares, and then plant his flag as being the new Emperor. And you're just like, I'm sorry, what? Sorry. You telling me, mate, that I made you some beef stew the other day, brought it over to your house, you sat me down, we broke bread, we had some wine, had a good time, we talked about how Terminator 2 is a fantastic film. You went into it a bit too much detail on it as well, but I didn't mind because it was a great film. And now you're telling me here that I've got a bloody big old knife in my back. What's this about? Wipe the butter off it that we used to butter the bread with, stick it in my back. Cool. Some people, eh? This villainous turn is so utterly blindsiding that you honestly might just need to pause the game and just go for a walk to clear your head. It is brilliantly done. It cleverly subverts everything that we expect from the master-apprentice dynamic in games like this, and that just makes it even more heartbreaking. So yeah, cheers, but also meh. Number 3, Samus is a woman, Metroid. Though video games have thankfully moved on enough that the badass hero is actually a woman can no longer be considered a plot twist, Metroid deserves a wealth of credit for doing so in an era where few games actually were doing this. If you beat the game in more than 3 hours, but less than 5, some would call that 4, you would be treated to a surprise ending where bounty hunter protagonist Samus Aran removes their helmet to reveal that, shocker, they're in fact a woman. Wow. Wowzers. Oh my god, my socks just blew straight off. In the 1980s, gamers were simply conditioned to expect that every kick-ass action hero had to be a man. And so this last-minute twist came as a genuine surprise, in turn paving the way for decades of fantastic female heroines that we've enjoyed since. that such a watershed moment for representation in gaming took place in an ending that many players never even saw firsthand is both fascinating and quite a little bit sad as well. Number 2, Shepherd's Betrayal, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Back when the Call of Duty franchise still had, anything at all to shock players, Modern Warfare 2 dropped a late-game plot twist banger that sucked all the air out of the room like it was Henry the goddamn Hoover. We're talking, of course, about General Shepherd's totally bonkers heel turn, when the supposedly unimpeachable American hero drops his pretenses, shoots squad mates Roach and Ghost dead on the spot, sets their bodies on fire for good measure, all while you, as Soap, are helpless to do anything but watch. Woof. Turns out the Shepherd had been operating behind the scenes in order to elongate the conflict between Russia and the US, orchestrating the infamous airport massacre earlier on in the game, while only planning to take down terrorist Makarov in order to position himself as a feted war hero. As twists go, it comes way out of left field, and replaying the game, there's actually visually no prior indication that he's going to become a secret turncoat. All the same, given how effectively the game endears Shepherd to players, it's a genuine gut punch when he shows his true colours, and probably the most full-throated feel-bad moment from any Call of Duty installment. And number 1, the protagonist is Cheryl. Harry is dead. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. It's a damn shame that Silent Hill Shattered Memories, or as I like to call it, Shattered Memories, remains trapped on the Nintendo, Wii, PS2 and PSP, because you know what? It's not a great game, but it does have some good moments. An intriguing reimagining of the original Silent Hill, Shattered Memories pinballs players between two storylines, playing as the original protagonist Harry Mason as he searches for his daughter Cheryl, and an unknown NPC who is in session with a therapist from the OG Silent Hill, Dr. Michael Kaufman. However, near the end of the game, it's revealed that Harry has actually been dead the entire time, having perished in a car accident 18 years prior. More to the point, Dr. Kaufman's patient is actually an adult Cheryl, who is still struggling to come to terms with her own father's death. And so our time playing as Harry is really her fantasy of his life had he survived the accident. Fair enough, says I, surveying the seas of WTF. Ah, there be no island around, and I am adrift in this sea of madness. Thank you for coming to my amazing theatre production. Jules Gill, The Egg and the Mind. Oh, hello. That is one hell of a bold reveal for a reimagining of one of the most beloved survival horror games ever. And while it certainly doesn't replace the original, the twist does cement itself as a fascinating companion piece to it. So yeah, Shattered Memories, while you and I may not have seen eye to eye or eye to many eye because of the weird beasties that you put in there, I'll give you a hug. I'm going to hug Silent Hill, Shattered Memories. It's going to be a peace moment right now. So I hope you're animating this and not just having me hugging the air. Air. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 amazing twists that came out of absolutely nowhere. Hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below, as well as putting your suggestions for next week's episode as well. Although Si may cut this out because we might have a Christmas special already planned. So who knows? Put them down there anyway. And if you want to chat to me in the meantime on the social medias, just go follow me over on Blue Sky over here. It's at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. I'm posting way more than I do on pretty much any other social media platform. So if you do actually want to chat with me, there's a good chance I'll actually be there this time. And you can follow my lovely editor Si over on her social medias over here as well. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Unfortunately though, it's not really a twist because you guys have come to expect it at the end of these videos, and that is just a bit of self-positive messaging for you lovely people watching this and made it through to the end. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're treating yourself with love and respect, all right? And I know, especially around this time as the nights are drawing in and things are getting a bit colder, it's even harder to boost yourself up mentally. But just make sure that you're giving yourself that break, that rest that you deserve, to just remind yourself each and every day that you are a massive ledge and you deserve the bloody best. All right? Now get out there and smash it. But maybe first, put the kettle on. Take 5. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.